I think short-term rentals is the catalyst for wealth. I think commercial real estate is the catalyst for like FU money wealth. Someone recently asked me if I'm giving up on single-family residence Airbnbs, and that question is a bit complicated. But the short of it is, I no longer plan on buying any more single-family residences or condos or single-unit Airbnbs really ever again. I want to talk about why, and I want to talk about why you should plan on doing the same. Now, before we get into it, understand that when people hear the first 10 or 15 seconds of this video, read the title, read the thumbnail, they immediately think, oh, Rob's getting out of the game. What's he know that we don't know? If he's getting out, it must be getting really, really bad. That's not what's happening here. And as a matter of fact, to just immediately put that to bed, I'm having the best year of my personal Airbnb career. My top 3 properties are crushing it right now. And I think the short of it is, like, when I really get into the reason for all of this, I've done it. Like, I have checked the boxes that I wanted to check when I got into this game. And the problem that I see right now with a lot of Airbnb operators and just short-term rental hosts is that when they get into this game, they don't really have an exit in mind and they don't know what their end game is. They just want to get started and acquire. By the way, this is me too. I did the same thing. I had no end game, but I started to figure it out. And ultimately, where all of this leads to today is that my end game is that I want to have a controllable exit. And what that means is I want to be able to pull the plug whenever I want to, and I want to have a control. I want to control kind of what that final price or valuation or price tag is. I want to control what that final number that I get to retire with is. And I don't really feel like you can do that when you're just buying single family residences, because if that was your goal today and you wanted to retire today, you'd find yourself in a bit of a pickle, because this is a really tough real estate market right now from a home value standpoint, from an interest rate standpoint. It's tough. And you wouldn't necessarily be able to retire or exit today if you wanted to. Now, with that said, I have spent the last 3-4 months, maybe 5 months at this point, selling off portions of my portfolio, pruning, if you will, and really kind of getting rid of all the properties that were only making me anywhere from $1,000 to $2,000 a month. And the reason I wanted to do that was because I have a couple of properties that make me anywhere from $5,000 to $15,000 a month. As a matter of fact, the Pink Pickle, my bachelorette pad in Austin, Texas, that was designed by my interior design company, Funkit, that property did $19,000 last month. It's crazy. And my mortgage on that property, by the way, is $2,300. So when I see that I can have one swing like that and make on a really, really good month, it's not like that every month, but on a really, really good month, make $15,000 for the same amount of work as this other property, sometimes more work on this other property, and make $1,000 or even $2,000, why would I spend my energy and my time over there, right? So I'm focusing, man, what are you doing? I'm focusing on downsizing, consolidating, and moving my equity into something that I can control, into something that I can grow. And so that's kind of where I'm at today. I recently closed on a property in Fredericksburg, Texas. It is the largest Airbnb play of my life. So just so you know, while I've sold things and I'm making this video, the reason is because I'm kind of going all in a way that I haven't before. But when I say a controllable exit, I'm now in the world of commercial real estate with this property. And so when you're in the world of commercial real estate, the rules change. It's like a very, very different ball game than a single family residence. And I've talked about this on the channel, and I will continue to talk about this on the channel because it's wild, it's wacky, and it is really the catalyst for like big wealth. I think short-term rentals is the catalyst for wealth. I think commercial real estate is the catalyst for like FU money wealth. So why is this? Well, when you're in commercial real estate, you basically find yourself valued at what's called a cap rate, capitalization rate. Generally speaking, a cap rate is basically if you were to buy a property all cash, an 8 cap would mean that you're gonna make like an 8% return on that cash purchase. So generally speaking, I mean, cap rates, you know, what your property is actually valued at depends on the market. It depends on a lot of different things, but generally cap rates can be anywhere from 5 to 12. And right now the standard that I'm seeing in a lot of developments like the one that I'm buying or the one that I bought is about an 8 cap. So to put this into perspective for you, because it gets a little complicated, so I want to keep this as simple as possible. Every dollar of net operating income that I have is worth $12.5 from a valuation standpoint. To put that even clearer for you, let's say I make $100,000 of NOI, you multiply that by 12.5, and that property is worth $1.25 million. So basically, you are incentivized to make more profit because that profit literally increases your wealth pretty exponentially. Now, take single family residences and why I don't really like this as much now. And believe me, I'm very thankful for short-term rentals. I'm not saying anyone should just jump right into commercial. I think you have to work your way up. We'll talk about that in a second. But with short-term rentals, no matter how hard you work on it, no matter how much care and love you put into it, no matter how much you invest into the interior design, and no matter if you make 2 or 3 times more than your competitors in that market, if that house is worth $500,000, then it's worth $500,000. It doesn't matter that it's making $100,000 a month, or sorry, a year. And so a lot of short-term rental investors think, oh yeah, I've got this Airbnb house, it's making really good money. I'm gonna sell it as a business and I'm gonna, it's worth $500,000 if someone were gonna live in it, but as a short-term rental, it's worth $700,000 because it makes so much money. Yeah, it doesn't work that way. And I think a lot of hosts have this misconception that it does. So ultimately, I've done so much with my portfolio, but my houses are worth what they're worth. Granted, they've appreciated in equity and I've got a really, really great equity stake in my properties, but they're just worth what they're worth. And there's nothing wrong with that. That is how real estate works. But with commercial real estate, there are little things I can do with my property that can compound, right? So if I decide to offer beer and wine service, for example, and make an extra $5,000 a month as a result, well, for a short-term rental operator, they're gonna make $60,000 a year from that decision. But as a commercial operator, that $60,000 I just told you is worth 12.5 more. So $60,000 times 12.5 is $750K. So just that small change to your business model actually increases your wealth and your equity in that property by $750,000. So $750K. And so I'm just much more fascinated by that. And that's just where I want to go. I really feel like I have lived the true trajectory of a short-term rental investor to the best of my ability. I started off with no money. I got into arbitrage, which I'll know that I don't really love, but I'm okay with if you use the money from your arbitrage business to own, which is what I did. Okay, I had an arbitrage business, I bought a condo with some partners, then we went and set up some glamping units and used the money that we made from that to go and buy more properties. And then I partnered up with other investors to acquire more properties. And then I used my own money eventually from all the money that I was making to buy more properties. And then I scaled that into a 40 to 45 unit portfolio. So when I say I've checked the boxes, I've done it. And I genuinely feel like I took the necessary steps to get where I am today. I wish I could have planned that better, and I wish I would have known where I was going earlier, because it would have made things a lot easier and I would have bought things differently. I would have thought about things a lot differently. And so I guess the moral of the story is I'm moving into a new sector or a new niche of short-term rentals that genuinely I think is going to be a new challenge for me and a new business model to crack and a new way to build wealth with short-term rentals. So I'm not really leaving the game. I'm just kind of going from the minor leagues to the major leagues. And I hope I'm gonna do well. I think I am, because I've got 8 years of experience. I've got 8 years of failures that I've talked about on this channel, and 8 years of wins and lessons that all kind of make buying a multi-million-dollar development like I just did so much less overwhelming, because I've just got it. I've got the systems down, I've got it figured out. And now, instead of focusing on all these disparate properties all over the country, I get to focus on just one property. And I think that's pretty cool. Like I said, I've started pruning. I've got one property I'm closing on 3 weeks from now. That property is going to put $400,000 of profit back into my pocket, except instead of putting that in my bank account and living my life, I'm actually going to do a reverse 1031 and put it into that development. And so my plan is, it's 13 units right now, but I've got the ability to go up to 46 units. And basically that 400K is gonna go into developing more units, because I'm not just building single units at that point, I'm building single units that contribute to this commercial property, and I'll just have more control over where I wanna go in life and how I wanna retire. Because guess what? The more I do this, the more it sounds pretty sick. I hate saying that. Sick, dude. The more it sounds pretty freaking sweet to cash out, take my millions, and hang out with my family for the rest of my life. I'm still a little ways away from that, but that's kind of what I wanted when I got into this and I lost sight of that by acquiring. And now that I know what my end goal is and where I'm going, it's so much easier to plan out my real estate life based on that. So I guess when I say you should consider not buying Airbnbs or you should plan on not buying Airbnbs, what I really mean is you should really sit down and think about what it is you want out of this. And if you start with the end in mind, getting there is so much easier than just having a dartboard that you're throwing darts at. So that's where I'm at. Look, I don't sit here and say that I know everything, but I do share everything that I do know, and I share it with my students, I share it with my community. If you want to get into this game, or if you want that defined blueprint, or if you want to just figure this thing out, best thing I can tell you is surround yourself with other hosts. And this is where I'm going to plug Host Camp, my community of over 4,000 hosts, students that I've helped reach their end goals, students that have become millionaires and multimillionaires. You can tap into that network, my resources, my courses, and you can do all of it for $1. Okay, you can try it for $1, one single doll hair. I wanted to make a no-brainer for you to get in, tap in, and then there's a live monthly coaching call with me. I'd love to see you in the community. It's no commitment, it's $1. You can opt out after if you want to. Okay, I'll leave a link in the description down below for you if you're interested. But by the way, hello and goodbye from Copenhagen. I plan on doing more of these walk and talks for you, so don't forget to like and subscribe because I got a couple more coming. Talk soon.